Hey guys, and welcome to the second episode of how to be a 3D animator. In this episode, I'm going to be showing you guys how to properly set up a project. Setting up a project is very important if you want to keep everything in one place and you don't want to lose files. It keeps all your Playblast in one place. If you want to render your shot, it'll keep all of it in one folder. And it's just great for organization overall. Afterwards, I'm going to talk to you guys about the graph editor and show you guys exactly the power of it and how you can utilize it to better your animation. If you guys stick around after that, I'll be sharing some small little tips that make a huge impact when you're animating for long periods of time. These little tricks will save you a few seconds here and there, but that really adds up when you're animating for 20 hours. It'll probably save you a total of 30 minutes to an hour if you really do animate for that long. And that's a lot of time saved. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set my project. I'm going to create a project for the work I'm about to do. You go about that by going to File, Project window, and this is all the files that it's going to be creating for you in one folder. It'll be creating a scenes file where it'll save your Maya files. Image file, I believe that's for renders, source image, render, data. Some of these aren't important, but the most important ones are scenes, images. You could keep your sounds there, or if you have sounds in your file, it'll save it there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click a new project up here. We're going to name this project Ball Bounce Demo, and we're going to use underscore instead of space. Choose where we want to save this. We'll just say desktop, save, accept. And now we're going to, so we created the project and now we're going to set this file as the project. So we're going to say this is part of that project. So we're going to file again and we're going to set project. And now we should be able to find ball bounce demo. There we go. And we're going to set it as a project. Now you don't have to go into the subfolders, you just set the project and every time you save, it should save it in the scenes folder. Okay, so now we know how to set up a project. Next thing I want to talk to you guys about is the graph editor. I'm going to set up an animation for this ball. Let's see, I'm going to frame 24. So a key on frame 1, a key on frame 24. We're going to go to frame, where would the middle be? Seems like the middle, frame 12. Bring the ball up, set a key, and I'm going to delete all the keys except translate Y. So I'm going to leave only the animation on translate Y. And you guys will see in a second. So I'm going to play this, and this is what we have. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Translate Y. I'm going to select everything, Control C to copy, come to frame 24, press Control V, and it just copied the animation we had here, starting it again and creating a loop, essentially. So now we have something like this. This is what you get by default. Now this is obviously not what a ball bounce looks like. It just looks like it's floating. And the ball actually comes in, hits the ground at max velocity, and bounces back up and slows down, and then starts picking up speed when it's coming back down. This is what Maya tries to predict with the keys you set. So you set one key here, one key at 12, one key at 24, and Maya tries to fill the void and tries to fill up what it thinks the ball should look like. What I'm going to do now is go to frame 1. I'm going to set a key on all 3 other balls and press S. Now I'm going to the first ball, clicking Translate Y, copy everything, select everything, copy, go to the all other 3 balls, and I'm going to individually click their Translate Y because I only want to paste this into Translate Y. So I'm going to click the first ball, Now I'm holding control and I'm going to select the translate Y for the second ball. Same thing for the third. Now control V. And now if we press play, all balls have the same animation. And we're going to go to the second ball this time, and I'm going to show you guys the different things we could do with the tools the graph editor gives us. So the first ball here is on auto. So it's auto making the lines in the graph. And we're going to go to the second ball. I'm going to make this linear. So I make it linear by clicking the one straight line right here. Now the ball moves at a very mechanical speed. It's the same speed all throughout since the translate Y line is straight. If the line is straight, the speed doesn't change. And this is the representation of exactly how the ball animation looks like. Now for the third ball, we're going to make this into stepped mode. So I'm going to click stepped mode button. And what this does is it doesn't try to create any animation. It just shows you exactly the keys you set. So those are the two different positions we set keys. When it reaches that frame, it shows you the pose or the key you have set. This is used for before you make an animation, you set multiple keys, and when you want to see if the timing is working, you make your animation into stepped mode. And that helps you see if the timing of your animation is working or if you need to make changes. So we've gone through 3 different tangents that the graph editor can give your animation. Now for the fourth one, we're going to make this seem a little more realistic. So again, as you guys see, the Y translate is a perfect representation of how the ball animation actually looks like. So it's going up, and it's coming down, as it is on the graph editor. Now what we wanted to do is we want the ball to go up and pause like it does. We would like it to come down very hard and hit the floor very hard and bounce back up very hard. How we're going to go about this? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this bottom key when the ball hits the ground. If I try to change this, it moves both sides. We don't want that. So how we can fix this is by clicking this button right here, breaking that connection, and now we can move each side separately. So I want to create a type of motion where the ball is falling towards that dot very sharply. And it'll be the same for this side. There we go. And we'd like to do the same thing for this side. I'm going to break this again and try and create a sharp, almost like a bird, drawing of a bird. Those drawings little kids do where it's just like a V, outwards V. That's the type of motion you want to create. So I'm going to break this one as well by clicking the button and try and create a sharp outward V. And you guys will see the difference between the 4 balls. So as you see, we have what Maya depicts the keys will look like. We have the very linear motion of, well, the linear tangent, and then we have step, where it shows just the different poses. And here we have the edited version that we made ourselves just by using the graph editor. We did nothing but set 2 different poses, and we only changed the graph editor to create this bouncing ball right here, which looks a lot more realistic than all the other ones. Just another quick example I'm going to show you guys. This is going to be on the translate Z instead of the translate Y. But as you guys can see in the graph, the line is going down when the ball is going right. Just like it was in the translate Y, except this works a little differently because it's going side to side. And it's not showing you an exact representation of what the ball is doing. But you can get the idea. So here, down means right with the translate Z. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up, and as you guys can see, when I bring the point up, it moves the ball. It moves where the ball would reach. So instead of the ball going all the way to the end now, it's going halfway across the screen. So we play this. Now if we change this by bringing this down, the ball would go a bit farther. And we can also move this horizontally, so it takes the ball way longer to reach the end point by dragging this key farther to the right side. So now if I play it, it reaches right a lot slower, but then it goes back a lot faster. And as you guys can see, because there's a curve here, it's slow in the beginning, it picks up speed when the line gets more flat and sharp. So the line gets a lot more straight and sharper downwards. That means it's picking up speed. And then it hits a plateau here where it's nearly flat horizontally. And the more flat and horizontal the line is, the less motion there is. And then of course it picks up speed and slows into a stop. This might be a little confusing for you guys, and I understand that. This is one of the harder things to wrap your head around when you're getting started using the graph editor, so it's completely understandable. All I can say is that in due time, you start becoming the line whisperer as you use it more and more often. You start getting used to it, you understand what the motions mean, what each curve represents in the animation, or you may not use it that often. I've met animators who barely touch the graph editor, and they do just fine. They just set keys, and they set in-betweens, and they rarely touch the graph editor. But for something like a ball animation, it is very essential to learn the basics of the graph editor. And so I want you guys to know that, at least, because I am going to be doing a ball animation and showing you guys how to exactly go about making a ball animation, including the graph editor and just setting keys in general, so you guys can make your own version for your demo reel perhaps, or for practice. Since you guys stayed this long, I'm actually going to give you some freebie tips and tricks just to save you guys time in your future animations. So one trick that I use when I'm working on a long animation scene that's taking many hours is I save multiple versions, because I've very frequently have had files be completely corrupted, meaning I can't access the file at all. Doesn't matter how many times I saved it, but if it's just one file and it gets corrupted, that's it, you're done. So what you want to do, or at least what I do, and what you should do, is you want to press Control, Alt, and then S. Pressing Control Alt S. Pressing Control Alt S saves an incremental saved version of your file. What that means is if we go to the folder that the file was saved in, which is our project folder. So we have our project folder open. We're going to Scenes, which is where it will be saved. And here, once clicked, you see that we have Ball Bounce, which is our original file. And then once I press Control Alt Save, it saved the new version in a new file. So all the new changes will be in the new file, and if we want to go to the previous versions, we just open the original file. Some projects could get up to hundreds, maybe even thousands of files depending on how big the project is, and movie files actually go up to tens of thousands of files. When you're making changes to a point where you don't want to lose your progress, or if you lose your progress you go into fetal position and cry, then you should save an incremental version of that file right away. Don't wait, do it now. Another trick I want to show you guys is let's look at what we have here. So we have our ball. Let me just make this timeline 24 frames. So we have the ball reaching the end. Now if we want to have the ball start slower, how would we go about that? We probably have to come here and set a key, and then copy this key and drag it here and paste it, and then come back and delete this key. Now I don't know about you, but that doesn't seem very efficient. Instead, what you can do is, let's say you want to copy frame 5, all you have to do is hold the middle mouse button down, click it, drag it to where you want to set the new key, let go and press S. And as you guys saw on the graph editor, we got the exact same result with 1/3 of the clicks it took. When you're animating, you're going to be doing this every 5 to 10 seconds, so you can imagine how much time it's going to save you. don't share this one with anyone. This is just for you guys. Another thing that some people might not know is sometimes you lose your character. Sometimes you click something and your camera launches in God knows where. You can get back to where you were looking at and focus on exactly what you want to focus on by finding your object in the outliner. So for me it's the sphere right here, and all you have to do is press F to focus. And so now the center of my screen is that sphere, and I can scroll right in, and when I rotate, or I guess this is side B, we can't rotate, so let's go to perspective, press F, zoom in, and when I rotate, it will rotate around the object I just focused on. You can come out of this by holding Alt and middle mouse to move your camera around, and then the center changes, but then you can press F again, and it's centered around the ball. And one last thing, I'm going to show you guys how to create a Playblast of your animation. So let's say we want to save this beautiful animation. Zoom out a little bit. There we go. So let's say we want to save this. How would we go about it? Technically you could render it, but just a simple Playblast that would take you a few seconds would suffice. What you have to do is right click on your timeline, go to Playblast, click on the box, come down here, trying to match your settings with what I have here. You want to have the format as QuickTime, QT. Encoding is H264. I usually want 100% quality. Display size, you can choose it to be from the render settings, and then I'll show you guys how to go about that in a second. Scale 1, and clicking browse, you can choose where you want to save it. But since we already set our project, all we have to do is just press Playblast, and it will Playblast it in your folder. So for me, ball bounce demo, and you just go to movies, and there's your Playblast. So you don't have to set anything, it automatically saved it to your project folder. Now we have the file right here, and it's Playblasted. It's exactly what we see in Maya. If your Playblast quality isn't very good, you can go up here, click this button right here, you can come down to your image size, and you can change. I'm going to change this to 1920 by 1080, and I am going to change the resolution to 300, and this will give you a much better resolution and image size when you Playblast it. Alright, if this video helped you guys in any way, make sure to smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the little notification to stay notified if I upload a new video. Happy animating!